Where are we going?
What's up, guys? Before the video starts, I just want to say sorry about the game audio not being present. Something happened to the recordings and the game audio got cut out, so sorry about that. Also, sorry about the lack of gameplay as far as the beta. I actually cut it a little close and missed out on some filming because the beta actually ended. So my bad there. I didn't actually expect to make a video, but here we are. Hope you guys enjoy. What's going on, guys? My name is Skability. Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the Destiny 2 beta, and we're going to be going over my thoughts, impressions, and so on about the game so far. So just to get the obvious out of the way, this is a beta, so things are subject to change. It is a technical test, and Bungie's already come out and said that they are going to fix a few things. So to jump right in, I do believe they should have put a little bit more content into the beta, more in the way of, I'd say more in the way of maps. Really, there's only one map for each mode, and it was specific to those modes. So I think they should have gone for 2 maps for each game mode, so 4 maps total, just to give us a little bit of variety. And as far as variety goes, I think they should have given us some more weapons to play with, because from the selection we had, I couldn't really get a feel for the gun balancing as far as if it was good or bad. So I don't really have a whole lot of opinions on that yet. We'll have to wait till the full game releases. Getting into the big meat and potatoes though, the biggest thing that you'll notice playing Destiny, at least for me, as soon as I played that first mission for the campaign, was this game was very balanced towards PvP, which obviously that's good towards PvP because they fixed some things, but it's really bad towards PvE because it really takes away from that experience just so they can please the Crucible crowd. And I don't mean that in any offensive way. I'm just saying there's 2 sides to this game. They need to treat both fairly, but I'll touch on that as we go. Biggest thing I noticed as far as balancing, that's going to be a big part of this video, is the ability balancing. I'm not going to touch too much on the super cooldown because Bungie already came out and said that they're going to reduce that drastically. I will say your super, it took way too long to cool down. You wouldn't get it till the end of the game, and by then everyone had it, and in most cases only 2 people would get their supers on each team. So obviously I'm glad they changed it, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Moving on to the biggest problem, I'd say, would be the grenade balancing. I didn't have too many issues with melee balancing just because, you know, it's not a big deal to me. So that's, you know, that's someone else's opinion. If there's something wrong with it, I thought it was okay. But grenades is where the real problem was. There's 2 things that stuck out to me. One big thing that affected all grenades was the cooldown timeout, and the cooldown time was about, on average, about 1 minute and 15 seconds, which in video game time, that is an eon. It's way too long, and grenades are very important on both sides of the game as far as PvE and Crucible for really just keeping the game flowing, because on PvE you essentially use your grenade to basically deal DPS to large amounts of enemies, or even clear out those large amounts of enemies so you can keep moving forward with your mission. On Crucible, you use those grenades tactically to push people out of cover, or to essentially soften up an objective such as B flag and control before you move in on it. And with the cooldown, you really just don't have grenades when you really need them most, which is annoying. I know they did it to reduce grenade spam, but I think they need to bring it down just a little bit to find that happy medium between having very little grenades and too much. I know they can do it, but in the beta it was pretty steep. I mean, I never really got killed by any grenades. In fact, I rarely saw a lot of grenades at all. So I do think it's something they need to drop down. Second thing with grenades is sticky grenades. I don't like what they did as far as dropping it down from a 1-hit kill to softening up their shields. I think they took it too far. And yes, this is coming from a guy who used fusion grenades on a warlock, dual grenades on Destiny 1, but hear me out. I know using the grenades, I know what's wrong with them. It's the fact that they track too much. Their aim assist is way too strong, to the point where you can throw that grenade and it'll track people around corners. It'll stick them with a foot off. So it's not the damage, it's the way the grenades track. And they need to, in my opinion, instead of hurting the DPS that these grenades do, they need to affect the tracking and make it more like the plasma grenades from Halo, where you had to physically stick it onto someone for it to stick and cause a 1-hit kill. Because right now in their current state, they're, in my opinion, they're pretty worthless to use. There's no point in using any kind of sticky grenade right now because they just don't do anything. They don't do what a sticky's supposed to do. And paired with that long grenade cooldown, there's no point in just softening up one person when you can do multiple people. And that goes for PvP or PvE as well, because sticky grenades right now, at least for the fusion grenades as an example, is they won't kill a Centurion in one hit, which that's your base level Cabal, your average one. That's going to be a pretty common enemy, which is really stupid. And even when you get to a Centurion, it barely breaks their shields. So why would you wait a minute and 15 seconds to throw a grenade that doesn't do anything? So I do think they need to essentially change around how those work as far as making a one-hit kill again, get that damage back up, but just make it more skillful to use. Make it so you have to actually hit your target, not have to really struggle to really get a kill with it. I don't know why they haven't done that already. I think it's kind of ridiculous, but you know, that's just how game companies work. Moving on to the weapons, as I said before, there really wasn't enough weapon variety for me to make a good consensus on if there was something broken or not. If there was a few weapons I'd have to pick on, it would be, I do think that the Nightshade Pulse Rifle was a little too good. Maybe that's just because it was probably the most used weapon. I'm not sure, but there's points where it got really dirty. And then the submachine guns, I think as a weapon class, need to be buffed a little bit. And I really mean a buff in the way of recoil, not damage. I think the side-to-side recoil needs to be toned down just a little bit, so that way when you're getting up close you can nail those critical hits, because you do need them to secure kills quickly. Because if you just hit mostly body shots, you end up going through that entire mag and they still have a little health left. I had to finish it off with a melee. And when I'm in close quarters and I can't hit headshots with a submachine gun, which is built for close quarters, I kind of question the point of using it. There's a few good clips I've had with it, with the Arc Runner, which I'm going to put up right now, where I just demolished the entire team in their search game mode. That was pretty cool, but I mean, there's been very few occasions where I really went in with a submachine gun, which is really disappointing. I was pretty excited to get my hands on those. Moving on to power weapons, that's kind of another new thing they did. So they've taken the sniper, fusions, and shotguns, and they've shuffled them down into your power weapon slot, and with your grenade launchers and your rocket launchers, and they've renamed it from heavy to power ammo. This has kind of had obviously a pro and a con effect on the game. So obviously the pros can be in Crucible because you're no longer getting spawn sniped. You're no longer having people pulling out Plan C's or Saladin's Vigils, and you're no longer having people running around with shotguns at the beginning of the game. Instead, those are all shuffled into your power weapon slot, and one person gets power weapon ammo. It spawns pretty frequently throughout the game, about 5 times total, and it's really, I like the state that it's in right now as far as Crucible. Where I have issues with power ammo is in PvE, because when you get to PvE, since you don't have your sniper in your secondary anymore, it's tied to your power ammo with your rockets. That ammo doesn't spawn in a whole lot, so you end up get stuck not having sniper ammo for like 7 minutes at a time. And when you do pick it up, you only get about 4 shots, which isn't really a whole lot of damage that you can deal with a sniper rifle. I know they don't want to make it too crazy drops because they don't want people running around with crazy powerful rocket launchers or even like exotics, but I think there's 2 ways they could go about fixing that. They could either increase the drop rates a little bit to where it's nothing too crazy, but at least you have ammo to go around, or the better option for what I think is they should keep the drop rates relatively the same, maybe increases a smidge, but instead have it so where if you have a sniper, shotgun, or fusion, you get more ammo per drop. In PvE only, let me stress that, PvE only, you get more ammo per drop for those 3 weapon types. That way it doesn't affect the state of these weapons in Crucible, but you're just having a better quality of life in PvE. Because for what I've seen, most of the new content for this game is going to be in PvE, as far as like new activities and so on. Obviously there'll be new maps for Crucible, but there's not a whole lot of new activities from what I've seen. As far as power weapons go themselves, I think there's only 2 things I would change. I would nerf the fusion rifle a little bit, because I'm a big fusion rifle fan from Destiny. I know a good one when I use one, and the better ingredient they give you in the beta is way too good for its own good. And it feels like a relatively average fusion rifle compared to the games past, and if it's that way, you could shred with a weaker quick charge one, and it'd just be devastating. So they do need to nerf the damage. I think they need to take the bolt to kill count up by 1, so instead of being 3 bolts to kill, it's 4. And that would make it a little bit more fair in my opinion. Just make it so it takes a little bit more accuracy, but it still feels like a power weapon when you use it. The other thing I would change would be grenade launchers, another new weapon type. I'm pretty excited to get my hands on these, but when I did get my hands on them, they felt pretty weak, and I just think it's because of their damage. I think they need to buff them so they're more in line with explosives. Make it worth using so you can spread that damage out instead of just using a rocket launcher, because right now I feel like it's only worth using a rocket launcher. Other things really that I could really gripe about would be network connection. It's changed a lot. They've kind of gone for this new setup where it's player linked, which is okay, but on the grand scheme of things, it's still laggy. It's not nearly as bad as Destiny 1, where you had people glitching around the map. I've seen it in a few cases, but not nearly as much. The biggest issue I've had has been kind of like the slight delay between shooting someone and them dying, or someone shooting me and me dying. I've died around corners still. I've been shot and killed instantly by pulse rifles just to see the 3 bursts hit me immediately. So it's little things like that. I think they're doing good with the network. They obviously still have some things to hammer out with that. So keep going with that. As far as good things go, I do like the map design. That was pretty cool. I like the new game mode for Control, or not for Control. I do like how they laid out Control, and I do like how they have laid out the new game mode. I forget what it's called. It's basically search and destroy with the bombs. I think it's like bomb defusal or something. But that one's pretty cool. I think it's gonna be really good competitive mode for like Trials 2.0. The sound design is amazing. Like the music's really good. The abilities to sound so much more distinct than they did in the first game. Hand cannons. There's one hand cannon. I think it's Better Devils. That thing sounds like a 44 Magnum hitting a truck, and that truck hitting a side of a building. It's so loud, but it sounds so good. So sound design, they hit it out of the park so far. So yeah, I think this game's gonna be awesome. Just have those things to really tweak, especially those fusion grenades. Seriously, sticky grenades, just the way they balance them, I think is just stupid. But I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I'm starting to ramble a little bit, so I think this is where we're going to end the video, guys. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys are excited for Destiny 2. If you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. Leave a comment with your opinion on the beta. I really want to hear it. I want to get other people's ideas. And if you guys want to see more Destiny 2, just go ahead and subscribe. But I'm going to peace out. I'm going to get some sleep. So have a good night, guys. Peace out.